Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 6:55 a.m. You are listening to Good Morning, Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. It is Friday the 26th, and we've got a lot of good stuff going on for you guys today, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the city this weekend. So as you know, today is another episode of Jeanette Splaining, and that's coming up. We're going to go live at 8 a.m. So get ready for that. And we got a great interview in the deck for you guys as well. So other than that, there's a lot of stuff going on. So let's talk about what's most important, and that is Neighbor Vax Aurora. Monday the 29th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at East Aurora High School, 500 Tomcat Lane. There is Neighbor Vax Aurora that's brought to us by our wonderful state legislators, representatives, and a couple of senators in there as well. Senator Linda Holmes, Senator Karina Villa, State Representative Barbara Hernandez of the 83rd District, State Representative Stephanie Kifowit of the 84th District, and State Representative Mr. Keith Wheeler of the 50th District. Shouts out to our officials. This is brought to us by East Aurora High School, all of those great people I just named, and also VNA Healthcare. This will be the Moderna vaccine, so please spread the word, and if you can attend, please do. Also, there is the community blood drive, Stronger Together. That's at 1 East Benton, downtown Aurora, the old public library. It'll be held in Gallery 1904, which is the lower level of that place. That'll be from noon to 5 p.m. Keith Wheeler, Representative Hernandez, and Representative Kifowit, in addition to Duquesne Abate Motorcycle Advocacy Group. They are the folks who are responsible for this great initiative, so please thank them if you ever see them and give them a shout out. Those are very important, so please, every donor can save up to 3 lives. So if you are able to donate blood, please do. This weekend is going to be Art and Market Aurora. That's happening every second and fourth Saturday, so this is the next one up. It's on deck. Something really cool for you guys. If you walk into the welcome table and you say, "Good morning, Aurora," you get a free tote bag. Holla! See? Good Morning Aurora is hooking you up around town already. Good Morning Aurora is proud to be the second largest city's first daily news podcast. GAMS, the Great American Morning Show. Tune in to us live every morning on Facebook. We do the live news and updates, and we have guests. So yes, great stuff. The Masters Revealed art show is coming up, and that's going to be April 2nd, which is the return of First Fridays, y'all. That's going to be held at Gallery 1904 in the lower level of 1 East Benton, and it'll be from 5 to 8:30 p.m. A friend of the show, DJ Venom, is going to be spinning some classic hip-hop for you as well. There's a great amount of talented artists and painters who will be taking part. So if you go there, show some love. Masks are required. It'll be a fun and socially distanced event. In addition to that, at McCarty Mills, from 5 a.m. till 10 p.m., our other friend, Devin the Artist, will be there having a pop-up with original artwork on display. Proceeds for the event will donate, or 10% of the proceeds, rather, will be donated to Viso Arts, which is a local nonprofit. Shout out to Viso Arts, shout out to Devin the Artist, and shout out to McCarty Mills, where this will be held at. McCarty Mills is located at 140 South River Street, Suite 108. And when the weather starts getting good, holla. You might catch your favorite hosts, Jeanette and your boy, and our producer BT Pizzle, there having a brew. I like Pollyanna, Liquid Love, great brewing company called Pollyanna. So yeah, get your sip on. All right. In addition to all of that cool stuff at the library from 5 to 7 p.m., Perry Slade, great artist, will be there, and he will be showcasing some of his awesome work. And local musician Dave Ramont will be there playing some live jams. So much good stuff. This is the return of First Fridays in in the downtown typical Aurora old school fashion, as we know, with people out and about shopping. Wear a mask, wear a mask, wear a mask, because masks are still required to go into all downtown Aurora businesses. Oh yes, and Art Market Aurora will be located at Society 57 on the corner of Benton and River Street. Okie dokie. So other than that, I'm gonna hold off on the rest of the topics because Jeanette's planning is about to go wild here. You know what I'm saying? So again, tune in, and thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to all our fans, listeners, and subscribers. Subscribe to the show on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts from. And if you have any questions, you can send us an email to goodmorningaurora@gmail.com. And that is the news. All right. Good morning, Aurora, and good morning, everybody. Today we're here with the My Superpowers Foundation. Very nice to meet you, ladies. Okay. To start off with, we're going to learn who you ladies are and where you're from. So we will start with you, ma'am.
I am Stacey Montgomery. I live in Aurora, and I have a company called Stacey Design, and my mission is to empower kids through social emotional learning resources. Thank you for having us.
Good morning. My name is Barb Hollock. I am your chocoholic, and if you're having any type of cocoa emergency, you always contact your chocoholic. I live in Aurora and have been here for the last 21 years.
Good morning. My name is Pillara Henderson-Smith, and I live in Romeoville. I am an attorney with a focus on estate planning, and so I help people put plans together for life transitions from a physical incapacity or mental incapacity and death, making sure that time is a time that people are living on each other instead of chaos. Thanks for having us.
Definitely. First people to ever thank me for having them. Oh my God. I knew this was going to go great.
Yeah, we're excited to be here.
All right. So we're going to talk about My Superpowers Foundation. Okay. We're going to talk about how it started, what's going on with it now, its mission, its goal, and its focus, and then what's to come. Okay. Now, Stacey, we will start with you. How did My Superpowers start? What's its history?
So the foundation, I am the founder. I started it a few months ago at the end of last year, November of 2020. And I started it out of my for-profit company, Stacey Design. As I mentioned, my mission is to empower kids. And a few years ago, I started to organize kid-led service projects. And the reason I did that is because one way to help kids become more confident, to feel empowered, is for them to serve others. And for them to not only volunteer, but to really get their hands dirty and help organize and plan these events. Kids love it. It helps the community, helps bring the community together, helps people and causes that need help. So I decided last year that in order for me to really do more, to make these projects larger, to add to it by working with schools more that need my help, I needed to start a nonprofit, and so I did.
Very cool. Very cool. Excuse me. Barb, tell us your involvement.
So I've been a fan of Stacey's since I first met her. I do not have children, but I realize that the children is the biggest and best investment we have in our life, in the continuity of life, and the kids need to feel empowered and feel inclusive. So when I started learning about her products and then her journals, I sent them to all the nieces and nephews that I had, and it was when Stacey said, I think I want to start a nonprofit. Do you think you want to be on the board? I said, absolutely. What can I do to help? And so I've helped with her service projects just because I believe that the children are our future.
And tell us your involvement, Pillara.
So I met Stacey through a networking group, and so we had a couple of one-on-ones together, and Stacey mentioned her new foundation in one of our meetings, and it just kind of sparked a little something in me. So during the meeting, I sent her a little chat saying, congratulations, love to hear more about it. We set up a time to talk about it, and I just thought it was super interesting. We're interested in a lot of the same things, passions, and so I was actually just encouraging her and saying, whatever I can do, just let me know. And to my surprise, she said, will you join the board? And I said, that's thrown me just quite a bit. Give me a little bit to think about it, but yeah. So then I came back to her and I thought, that's perfect. Yes, I'd love to be part of the board. And so I've been on the journey ever since.
So you asked about the pool and then she pushed you in. Is that how?
Exactly.
Now,
Jump in. Well, I didn't mention all that the foundation does. So I mentioned that we organize kid-led service learning projects, but we do two other things as well. We also offer social emotional learning resources to underfunded schools and to youth organizations. And the third thing we do is that we are creating community events that help bring children of different cultures together. So, but all three things center on empowering kids and social emotional learning.
And for the listeners and the viewers, what is SEL?
What is SEL? Well, social emotional learning, I like to break it down into very simple terms. It teaches kids to respect themselves and to respect others, and to understand that they are part of a community, and it's important for basically for everybody to understand each other and to work to get along. And
ladies, I do like to know it, and we'll start with yourself. Since you've been involved, what's some of the positive change that you've seen since?
It's incredible to see how many people will jump on board and show their generosity just by a little ask. And just by being able to see, it's like a snowball effect. And so one person sees the little bit of effect that it can make, and then so many more. I had an incident just recently. We were doing a food drive, and I only had an opportunity to ask 2 people before my fulfillment was done. I mean, it was kind of amazing how one person was like, I'll take care of everything that you need to have done. And it was like, okay, well, I guess I'm finished.
Never typically happens like that in life, right?
It's amazing what a small ask would do, but when you can actually see the impact local, I think that's what the difference is. And so it's not some abstract thing that's happening. It's concrete and real.
Right. Bart.
So the small kids in my family are great nieces and nephews, and so they're at an age a little younger than some of our projects, but when we did the Veterans Project for the Valentines, I was able to include some of my great nieces and nephews to color Valentines that would go to the veterans. And my niece's brother is in the Marine Corps, so she was really excited to explain that, you know, Uncle Eddie was in the military, but these were going to people who retired, and these were for her kids, and they were very excited to participate in you know, their Valentines going to the veterans. And then I was fortunate to drive them all out to the veterans home and to, you know, see the impact. When they, you know, with COVID we couldn't see the veterans, but they did provide us a bunch of pictures of them opening our boxes. With that, we had gift boxes for them. So, and then just throwing out, I need 100 toothpaste, you know, samples of toothpaste and toothbrushes. I was getting calls. I'll take care of that. Sorry, already done. I need socks. Okay, I'll send the socks. Wait, that someone else already took that. So as Pillara said, just asking people, we need help for, this is what my list is. The people, I'll do it. The next day there was 100 snack bars on my front porch. I said, who delivered? Who ordered Sam's Club? Why do I have a Sam's Club box on my front? And it was there, and I knew who did it. So it was, and the food drive the same way.
I've taken part in many a veteran initiative. to give back to veterans too, and I've been a person who can like facilitate cards from kids to vets. I have to say that seeing little people give something to people who are not expecting anything like that, it's really dazzling. There was a senior services facility I used to volunteer at, and that's what we would do, right? We'd bring cards and pass them out, and these guys are, Vietnam guys and everything, and they get a card from like a third grader. That's a big feeling, really big impact. What does the name My Superpowers mean? Where did that come from?
Well, a few years ago, I wrote a book, a guided journal for kids called What is Your Superpower? And that one book led into 5 others, which I now call the My Superpower series. Each of the books is about empowering kids, and I use the imagery of superheroes because, well, one, kids can identify with that, but 2, I want kids to see themselves as the heroes of their own lives. The way that they really, look up to superheroes on television and in the movies, and they want to have, they want to be able to fly or run fast or be invisible. I want them to find their own power, and I want them to embrace that and view themselves as the heroes of their own lives. So that's why I call it the My Superpowers Foundation.
Do you have a superpower?
Yes.
What is it?
We all have superpowers. Well, one of my superpowers is, kindness, forgiveness, empathy, compassion. I also love to draw, love to write. We all have many, many superpowers.
Barb, what's your superpower?
Because I just left after 8 years of being with a chocolate company. I was always the chocoholic, Barb Hollick. So
bing, bing, bing.
Yes, it was. So I would like to say, knowing a lot about how cocoa was harvested and all that, but that being with that company allowed me to give back a lot. And last year's World taught us a lot about how to shift and do business in a different way. So I began doing fundraisers with my business all of last year. So is chocolate my superpower? It could be. Giving back is my superpower.
It's a 2 for superpowers. Chocolate and giving back. What's your superpower?
Oh my goodness, that's a hard one. I've never really thought about what my superpower is. I don't know, I guess I'm definitely probably a really good listener. That seems to be the thing when people need to talk things through. I am probably that person that you would come to for that, and definitely details oriented, so I am able to kind of sit back and pull out the details and things. I think sometimes in a space, I am a quiet one, but I am a quiet one because I'm gathering a lot of information that sometimes people don't quite seem to get. So maybe that's my superpower.
Ah, the quiet, persistent, forward-looking person. Kind of like a lawyer, just sitting in the back of the courtroom, just taking notes. All right. So what are some of the calendar activities going on with My Superpowers? What's coming up next for the organization?
Well, we are, right now we're wrapping up our second project of the year, which was a food drive. The project was called My Superpower is Feeding the Hungry. And the next project is on May 15th. It is a project where kids are going to make blankets, which we will give to an organization called Rescued Rascals. They're blankets for dogs that are in shelters. And for the rest of the year, we have a few other things planned. Our big kind of signature fundraiser is on October 16th. It's a friendship dinner. It's going to be at the Alive Center, and it's going to be very exciting. We're going to have an auction of treats, of desserts made by kids. There'll be musical performances. And so those are a couple of the big things that we're planning for the year. We're looking into a few other projects, which we will disclose at a later date, but we have a pretty full calendar.
The Alive Teen Center?
Yes, in Naperville, location.
Oh, we interviewed Addie Rubio and Casey Chitwood of the Aurora location. It was one of our best. All of you listeners and viewers out there, check it out. All right. All right. Now, you ladies, or the foundation, just did a burrito fundraiser with Chipotle
Yes.
on Saturday. Let's talk about that. How'd that go?
Oh, it went well. It went well. So at the Chipotle location in Aurora, on Eola and North Aurora, we teamed with them to raise funds for our foundation. And we had, I don't know how many people came out, but we more than exceeded our expectations.
Good. Very good.
Yeah.
And had a great dinner.
And, yeah, the food's good.
And got to visit in person with people.
Exactly. Yeah, a few of us actually sat in the restaurant and ate. And
What was that like?
it was fun because there were some people. Good friend Karen Carlson. Hey Karen, have not seen her in person in over a year, so that was wonderful. Another one of our board members, Jen Hall, was there with her family and her kids. I'd never met them, so that was nice. So it was just fun.
Shouts out to Jen Hall, Air Force veteran.
That's right.
Yes.
Oh, and I'm sorry, let me mention our fifth board member, Ellen Cleary. And Ellen does education consulting. So she knows a lot about social emotional learning. She's also a mom, so she is also important to the board, as are all the members.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So another thing I'd like to know, and our listeners and viewers may benefit from, is that, and I'd like to ask you ladies each, what's the biggest impact that COVID has had in your lives? Okay? And we'll start with you.
Oh gosh, the biggest impact is all the family and friends that it has affected. So just like Stacey was saying, the people that you have not been able to see in over a year, so that would be the same for me. A lot of family members that are out of town, and especially my mother and grandmother. My grandmother's 96, and so she and my mom have been quarantined together for the past year, and so no one has been able to come in and out. But we do FaceTime. So that's really hard. It's really hard not being able to physically connect with people, and it's really hard just the loss of people. So the death and the sicknesses has just kind of come from it, the lingering. There's so many lingering effects, and so it's been hard.
Barb?
It has, without, the family connection. I am the caboose baby, so I have two older brothers. I had three. I had a brother pass away last fall, and it was a tough decision to make to go out of town to pay my respects and be there for him, because he was always there for me. So I had to make that call to get on an airplane and to go to Las Vegas, but that's where he lived. So that was kind of tough to see that, and then my business closed down. I was with a major chocolate company, and they shut their doors. But during last year, as I said earlier, I learned how to do business differently, and we have made it through mostly, and I think we're all part of a different world.
Right.
And that's just part of, making it 68 years.
Being resilient. Yeah. Stacey?
Well, I echo what Barb and Pillara said, and I will also add, in my business, I work with parents, with teachers, and so it has been very difficult on families and on schools, on teachers, on principals. Remote learning, and that has been very challenging, and it has affected being not able to go out to school. It has really impacted the emotional wellness of kids. So I think that is one of the biggest things that has happened over the past year. And there's also what I don't believe is talked about enough. It has really affected the emotional wellness of teachers. Teachers, they love their jobs, they love their students, and they feel that their hands are tied, they can't do what they usually do, and at the same time, many of them are just getting battered by the community, blamed for a lot of things. So the way that the pandemic has impacted students and the educational system in general, is kind of in many ways devastating.
I did want to talk about the importance of the pivot. Okay, so many of us had, for yourself, Barb, like we had a job, that job is gone. For a lot of people, they were wrapped up in whatever that job was. Reinventing yourself, for those who have had to make that choice, is it difficult? Is it hard? What happens to us as we do that? Barb, you could take that.
Well, a group of women that I was working with have formed a new corporation, and we are launching our new business next month. So yes, I guess, as you said, resilience and invention, that necessity is the mother of invention. So I want to do something different. I'm not ready to, pull the covers up and put my head down and say I'm done with life, even if I am collecting Social Security and being at my age, So learning to do something, learning to do, opening to new possibilities, and joining my Superpowers Foundation board. What can I do to give back? It's got to, it feeds you. When you do good things, it feeds you to want to do more.
All right, next question. What does the world need more of?
Stacey's.
I concur. Any of you ladies can start with that.
Kindness and patience and compassion. Compassion. Doing these service projects, we are all seeing that there is a lot of kindness out there. But we still need more. We also see, by looking at what's going on in the world, that there definitely is not enough compassion. That's how communities become stronger, if we can empathize and feel compassion for others.
Right.
I would agree with that. I would also say open-mindedness and flexibility.
Yes.
Right? You have to be able to go outside of your four corners. You have to be able to bend a little. We all need to be able to do that, and in order to show that kindness, right, and empathy, you have to be willing to bend. You have to be open to it too. So, open-minded and flexibility.
We've all heard walk a mile, and you don't know what you don't know. And so when you are open and flexible and you hear a different side of something, it's like, wow, I never thought of that. So it is the empathy and being willing to entertain a different point of view.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot. There are some things, but there's not a whole lot which is black and white. There's a lot of gray.
A lot of gray.
And people need to take a time, step back, and look at that.
So we spoke about the importance of SEL skills for the youth. We also are, Stacey, you also did talk on the importance of identifying and honoring the educators. What's something that the general public, the average person, can do to either help or provide assistance to or advocate for teachers and educators?
Well, listen to them. Just listen to them. It's when it comes to education, it's a partnership between the educators and parents. And so I think both parties need to listen to each other, and also I think some parents need to just remember that the teachers only have so much power, and a lot of things they do because they're required to do, And so just, again, compassion on both sides. Put yourselves in teachers' shoes, and teachers put themselves in the parents' shoes, and just work together. And I'll also say that, teachers have the resources that they have. And if a parent feel that more needs to be done or something needs to be done, they need to talk to teachers about it, not yell at teachers about it. Talk to teachers and try to figure out solutions.
We're all in it together.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are. Learning is teamwork. You cannot just send your kids to school and think that, hook my kids up with knowledge and send them back. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that at all. All right, so now we have a visual aid as well. Is that we got that?
And,
Show and tell.
Lots of people do food drives, but we wanted to put a different slant on the food drive.
Okay.
We wanted, and it came from a comment at one of our board meetings from Jen Hall, and her reading that a kid had written, "Oh God, thank God we don't have beans in this bag." That all they were getting were, beans from the food pantries. So from that, we came up with the idea of doing meal-like bags. So let's do breakfast, let's do lunch. And then from that, we got bags, and we had the kids coloring pictures. Like, as you can see on there, I think one of the bags I had said, food is one of the most important school supplies. Mm-hmm. I had a mac and cheese bag, so they drew noodles on there and a wedge of cheese. And so this was important, so then the kids were looking at it from that way. And that's how we got them involved. And then grocery shopping. Ellen brought her kids with her to go grocery shopping to pick things out for the bag.
Yeah, I had my son with me this past weekend. Gave him a cart and said, go pick out all the breakfast items.
Right. So as Barb mentioned, whenever we do a project, we want to kind of spin it the My Superpowers Foundation way, and we have to have the kids front and center involved. So the way we did that, we asked the kids to, decorate these bags. There were 100 bags that were decorated. I think we had about 12 or 15 kids decorate them. And then we had them write, some impactful words. Our projects are not only service projects, they are service learning projects. It is about the kids doing something to learn about the problem that they're helping. And so we just had a whole a list of facts for kids to read and to put on these bags. Some kids took it on their own, like Jen Hall's kids were involved in this, and they went online and did more research, and they learned more and more about the problem of food insecurity, not someplace across the globe, not in Chicago,
right,
but, in our backyards, in these areas, in Aurora, in Naperville, in Romeoville, many of us live in, big, beautiful, wonderful homes. We go to, our kids go to wonderful schools, but there are kids in those schools who don't have enough food. And we all need to understand that. That's where, compassion comes in, empathy, and learning about what's going on in your community and reaching out to help.
With that is also, when the kids weren't going to school, they weren't getting the meals either, and they had to find a way to help those families that didn't have the meal programs. And that was a shocker, especially in the neighborhoods that we live in. We're not in the mountains, we're not in some depressed area. We're in the second largest city in the Illinois, in Aurora here.
And yet we got kids that are going hungry. For me, like, one of the things that was, I knew this, but I think that it became more well-known for a lot of other people during the pandemic was that, the food drives, or excuse me, the food pantries were having drives to restock themselves. I think a lot of our fellow citizens, what have you, Aurorans, Illinoisans, thought that, it's just there, right? Like it's always there. How could a food pantry run out of food? But it's a ongoing thing. Like we need everybody to take part, to give back, so the next guy can have, or the next family, or what have you, can have some. That for me, that was an eye opener.
Absolutely.
And Pillara, if you'll say a few words about Bags of Hope, one of the organizations that we're donating the food to.
Yeah, so Bags of Hope, they are located in Plainfield, and they send basically food home with kids like over the weekends, and so they fill bags with the food. And so when I contacted them to say that you are one of the organizations that we have chosen and that we will be donating, and so we're setting up the coordination, shock and disbelief was kind of what came across the phone, that how much that we were bringing, how low they are, how desperate they are for donations, and how they were going into their own personal pockets to try to make sure that bags were going home with the kids. And so talk about being grateful and being in the right place at the right time, like goosebumps. Yeah, so it's one of these things where you feel like you're doing something small, but it is huge in the ripple effect that it will be. And so I've spoken to multiple people since sending out that email and making those calls for that organization, and they are beyond grateful. She said, I could not believe how many bags you said you were bringing over. I had to look at it again to make sure. Can't tell you how grateful we are.
God's good.
40 bags. We're giving Bags of Hope 40 bags filled. I mean, I took some of the stuff out of this bag because it was heavy, but 40 filled bags. And we're giving bags to Batavia Apartments, Mercy Housing. They have a food pantry, and they are also, having trouble keeping it stocked. And what some food pantries do is they go to food banks to get their food. And
Right.
the food banks, are often very well stocked. But food pantries have to pay for that food. It is at a lower rate than retail, but they do have to pay, and their funds are limited, so they are limited as to what they can purchase. So Veronica Horton, who works for Batavia Apartment, she expressed just how grateful she is for this.
How can we, the public, help My Superpowers Foundation?
Well, you can like our page on Facebook.
That's an easy one, y'all. I want everybody, if you're listening to this episode, you need to go like the page right now.
But also, when I say like it, follow the page, because that's where we are posting our upcoming events, and including both fundraisers, and we are having, for the next few months, we are going to do more restaurant fundraisers in different areas. So please, if something is going on near you, come out and have dinner at the restaurant so that we can help support our mission. But also, bring out your kids and participate in our future service projects. So, yes.
But not only like our page, but we do have a group where a lot of people talk in our My Superpowers Foundation group in Facebook.
Okay.
Where you will throw out insightful things to what are you doing about this, and people coming back and forth. How was your child impacted with our project? So there's a lot of good conversation going on in there, and maybe some of the frustrated moms are like, what am I going to do with the e-learning and all that? There's a lot of conversation going on, resources to help each other, to know that these moms that are out there are not alone.
Any chocolate tips in the group, or is that?
I keep getting in the group.
Well, I do want to pick up on the chocolate. We had we had a fundraiser. Our first fundraiser was in December of last year, and Barb hosted the fundraiser with her company, and we raised over $1,000 just in about a couple weeks. So, chocolate has been involved.
And when we talked about one of our first friendship dinners, we did, because the company I was with had baking mixes, we had a bake-a-thon. We had 2 baking-a-thons at Stacey's house, but we had a kids baking and decorating cupcakes and cookies, and then we sold them at Wickwood House. That was they were separate projects, but we then the kids were with us, and they were, oh, buy these, and they were naming their cupcakes, and they put labels in there. So I mean, we did, and we had little aprons for all of them. That was one, and then the friendship dinner, we had a kid-led auction for baked goods. And they, the kids were I think a carrot cake went for $30. We had one kid and one dad going back and forth about it, but it was fun, and the kids were talking. They were given, here you have this chocolate cake that was made by, and they went on, and then starting bid, and they would go on and on. So having them as part of that was amazing, and we were able to bake with stuff.
Yes, we and that's actually going to happen again this year. One thing that we did do is we stocked up on products from Barb's former company, and so when it comes time to bake for our friendship dinner this year, those products will definitely be used. I mean, you know, our board is full of genius, and we are using these resources. Every board member is not only volunteering their time and their genius, you know, they're given products and things like that. So, I mean, I love this board. You know, I really do. We have meetings every other week, and they're about an hour and 15 minutes or so. So when we're done with the agenda, you know, no one really wants to leave the Zoom. You know,
everybody's just chilling, right?
Yeah, we're just, you know, I mean, we all are busy people. You know, we have families, we have work, we have, you know, kids, and we all have stuff to do. But we're just kind of sitting there, like, you know, we really don't want this to end because, I mean, you know, what we're doing, we're so excited about what we're doing, who we're helping, and the response from the community is amazing. You know, and I cannot leave without talking about Katie. Katie is a friend of mine, and she heard about the food drive. And the way the food drive worked was, one, the kids decorated the bags, 100 bags. But then we had to have people fill these 100 bags. And so we make all kinds of plans as to how we're going to go to our networking meetings and announce it, and, you know, social media to try to get people to fill these 100 bags. So Katie found out about this, and she contacted me, and she said, I would like to fill 85 of your bags. And I was like, okay. Her father had just turned 85 years old, and she wanted to give him a big surprise and honor him by filling 85 bags because for years, both her mom and dad had volunteered at food pantries. So food insecurity was very important, you know, to her parents and to her. So she said, I want to take 85 bags. I'm going to, you know, call on my friends and family, and I'm going to fill up these 85 bags. And so I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. And you know what? To be, you know, I was a little bit skeptical because 85 bags is a lot.
Right.
And, you know, Katie was like, I'm going to do it. And she did it. She filled 85 bags. And so that is a type of thing which has been happening, you know, as Pillara mentioned, you know, we ask for something and we get it. Yeah. The community, you know, is just behind us.
This is something I keep pushing on, Stacey. It's okay to ask. You don't have to do everything. Mm-hmm. All you have to do is say, hey, anybody have any ideas I need help with? And the outreach is amazing.
I love when the community comes together for stuff like that. Yep. Try to be the change that we all want to see in the world.
Absolutely.
All right. So it was October when the My Superpowers is connecting with the
friendship dinner.
Right.
It's October 16th. I believe at 6 o'clock. We will be, you know, putting information out about that in the next couple of months. Again, it's a dinner. There will be a live auction of treats made by kids, and there will be musical performances. It's going to be a wonderful, fun evening, and that's going to be our our kind of our big signature fundraiser for the year. We will be looking for sponsors, and we will be selling tickets, so stay tuned.
An author, a chocolatier, and an attorney all came together for a foundation. Sounds like a great joke, right? Starting off a joke, like these guys walking to, yeah.
We're also a veteran.
A veteran?
That's right, Mrs.
And
Hall.
an
Excuse me, yeah.
aromatherapist? Yes.
Yeah, Jen is a veteran. She's also a certified aromatherapist, and Ellen, is a consultant for an educational company. Her expertise is in marketing. So we all have our strengths, we all have our powers, and we are using them for good.
Not just powers, superpowers.
Yes.
The show ends on a positive note. What is the message of the day from you ladies to the city of Aurora? Our educators, our students, parents, everyone. And we can start. We'll start with you, Stacey.
Well, my message would be is that the foundation, we are here to help. We are here to help this community, and if you are in need, come to us. One of the big thing that we focus on is social emotional learning. So if you're looking for resources, we have a grant program which we will announce soon. Contact us, contact any of us. We're here to help.
Barb.
I think words are powerful, so I'm going to say there's two words that always impact me. And one is gratitude. You can look at the small things and be grateful that when I got up this morning, I had a warm bed. I turned on the water and I had warm water for a shower. So you can always look at things as what I have instead of what I have not. And the other thing is kindness. Kindness is free, so sprinkle kindness all around, just like you would sprinkle cocoa.
That's cute.
It is, yeah.
I think mine is generosity. I think people are way more generous than we give them credit for. And so kind of going back to what Barb said, a little ask can go a long way.
A little ask can go a long way. Sprinkle chocolate dust on anything that you want positive and tasting good. And social emotional learning and all of its components and all of its parts. This was a great interview. I'm glad to learn about the My Superpowers Foundation, and I want to say congratulations to you ladies for the success of Saturday's Chipotle fundraiser. Success with that. And I wish you ladies much success going forward. For all of you, definitely. Let's think about a part 2.
All right.
For you, it'd be a part 3. Yeah, part 4. But for all of you listeners out there, please check out My Superpowers Foundation on Facebook.
Yes.
Like the page, share the page, and the information that's on it. Stay tuned for all the activities that My Superpowers Foundation has coming up. And for all of you people out there, be blessed, be motivated, have a positive day, and be empathetic as we go about this day. Be blessed. Peace.